Do you know the way? Here, let me turn on comments. Not screenshot. Comments.
Dude, tell us what the war unfucked. Tell us what war unfucked.
My boy, are you in this stream? Is there any way that I can make this thing smaller? There we go. Just waiting on... Let me get myself in the party. My boy. Alright. I'm just waiting right now. Waiting. Let's see. Doomfist, my boy. Turn this down to that. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Charge this up. Damn. Alright. I gotta get that timing down. There we go. Still can make that glue. Hey. used to that turn. Damn. There we go. Actually, what if L2 is jump? What if instead of that? I feel like Genji a little bit. My Genji settings. No. I keep hitting X thinking that's my jump. My timing is so shite with this. Oh my god. What the fuck, my mans? Yeah, I got nothing. Bitch, you're supposed to like follow me when I do that? Yo, let's try this again. Oh, never mind.
Now, do you remember what you told
L3 is not good for me when doing this. Hmm.
Oh yeah, and I told him about my pains and the back and all that.
Cause I'm gonna like ruin my L3 if I do that. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna go back to the original setting. I hit her. Alright.
What are you doing today?
Dude, I hate this timing. Bruh, I canceled the punch. Let's do this. Alright. Let me restart this. Oh shit, let me turn that down. Please find plugin. Let me type in my usual.
Hey.
It said my message. Hey. Alright. So we's doing Lucio then. The reason there's an Ana in here is because that's like the practice warm-up thing that I used to use. Alright. So my man's here wants to learn some useful stuff about Boostio. Alright. So before we start, I gotta grab myself a snack. Alright. Watch out, dog. Watch out, doggy. Doggy. Alright, so I guess I should just start off from like some basics here. So we already know Lucio, 200 HP, or as the people in the UK say, HP, support character. Um, obviously understand he's got the whole speed aura, heal aura shit. Then you can either boost either or and then boop. Well, if you're used to using X as your jump, and use X, I guess I should get this out of the way. So, the settings that I'm using are literally just 100 default settings. Exponential ramp? Don't feel like it. Huh. I don't remember doing that. Are all my defaults set? Apparently, I've been playing on exponential ramp. Anyways, so my settings for Lucio. I don't usually use a circle, but the circle's on here probably because I was using a tracer at one point. This is like a bunch of old settings. L2, I use L2 to jump, and the X for the boop. And my melee circle, of course. But I just got used to using L2 as jump because it's also the jump for Genji for me. Let me just show that real quick. It's also the jump for Genji. And Hanzo, I don't know if I have it for anyone else. But back to Boostio. So, pretty much, your job... Give me a second, got a message. Pretty much, like, your main job isn't just to necessarily be in the back line, but you want to, like, use your, your utility, like your kit, to its maximum, which I'll explain. Speed boost and heals. Now, a lot of people, mostly in lower ranks, I mean, hell, even the higher ranks, I've seen it before, get speed boost and heals, like, they don't really balance it out. Like, think about it like Moira, like, you gotta balance damage and heals. Well, with Lucio, you're balancing speed and your heal.
I hate you.
And you can hate me all you want, but you still licked my ass, boy. Anyways. So, knowing when to use speed and knowing when to use heal is, like, very essential to separating yourself from the low rank Boostio and then making yourself into the Reddit Boostio that's like top 500. Most of the time you're going to want to be in speed. But, and I say this, and cannot stress this enough, and you want to heal, you want to be in heal in the middle of fights. Or when you get to the, like, either the area that you're speeding everyone into, then switch to heals. But the thing is that you don't want to just be a heal bot in the middle like this. Like, don't pay attention to Ana, but you don't want to be a heal bot on the ground constantly healing like this. Yes, you'll most likely get gold heals, but the point of Lucio is not to be grounded, but to be doing shit like this. Wall riding, and using your speed. Utilizing your speed boost to get your opponents, not your opponents, but your team moving. And
But
then,
Dad,
being all around the place. Like, you want to essentially just be all around the place. You don't want to be in one spot. And then, every now and then, you'll switch, and then switch back. But get used to, like, wall riding and, like, how it works and boosting yourself up to higher ground. Because it may look like it's simple, but like if you don't really like have a grasp on your movement and stuff, then you know it's stupid. I mean, at first I didn't even get it, but then I started playing them a little bit and whatever. But yeah, with Lucio in the recent GOATS meta, where he's real popular, it paid off to be very aggressive. The more aggressive Lucio would pretty much win the team fights. Pretty much what that was just meaning was, you know, you're positioning yourself to wall ride over the enemy team into a person and then boop them into your team. And or you could like frag their Lucio, kill their Lucio. But you'd have to get in and get out. But anyways, yeah, pretty much positioning wise, you're never just gonna want to be on the ground being a heal bot. Always alternate between, because you don't have enough heals to keep people up. Like Zen, you don't have enough heals to keep people up. Yes, you can give them that little sprinkle of health here and there, but speed boost and speed aura is your best friend. You need to rely on more so than just the heals. You need to rely on your own skill, your own positioning, your own shooting, booping, you know, getting used to that. You need to get your, like, yeah, you get your ult charge through heals, but you need to also get used to getting your ult charge through damage, which will separate you from a lot of other Lucios. Like, the time that I see a Lucio constantly in heals on the ground like this, moving around, that's easy pickings. Yeah, that's easy pickings. You don't see that really. Like, yeah, you know, some people throw, like in high rank terms, some people throw. They'll stand in one place, or they'll, you know, try to do stupid things. But the more you start to notice this stuff, the more you'll get it. So lower ranks, you'll see a lot of this, where a Lucio will be in heal, and he'll just move around with the team. And then every so often, if he wants to boop you off something, you'll see him do this and aggress towards you. But for the most part, a grounded Lucio is a dead Lucio. Unless you have some kind of insane aim and ability to,
What
like,
learned was to be in heals when fighting but boost myself and team out and forward.
Yeah. Yeah. But also keep in mind that in team fights, you don't want to stay on necessarily, like, you can be in heals and wall ride around, but you won't be as fast. That's where speed aura comes in. You want to be very active as a Lucio. You don't want to be inactive. You don't want to be passive. If you're passive, it's smart in some plays to be passive, but that's depending on who you're facing against, like what kind of team. For the most part, don't be afraid to be aggressive and learn from it. Because the only thing you can do, like, if you die, if the only thing you get from it is dying, you'll learn. You'll learn, well, why did I die? You know, did I jump in on the wrong character? Did I use up all my utility? You know, all my kit? What did I do? But with that out of the way, I'll go on to the next little bit. So, Lucio isn't like Ana or Baptiste or Mercy, where, I guess even Zen, yeah, Zen too. It's not really Moira, but a lot of those healers, they can thrive on high ground. Where, you know, they can be on high ground by themselves. I mean, I guess not necessarily, but it's lower ranks, you get what you get. But they can be on high ground and they can heal from high ground. You, on the other hand, can only heal in your aura radius. That does not count for people on the other side of walls. They have to be in your radius. Like right now, if this Ana was my teammate, she'd be getting heals, she'd be getting speed. But as soon as she goes on the other side of that wall, right here, She is without my heals or my speed boost. She will see the ring though. She'll see it. From what I understand, she'll see it through the wall, but she won't be getting it. Essentially, she won't be getting the plus from it. So keep that in mind for any teammate that like tries to flame you on that. You can just tell them they're a dumbass because they don't know what the fuck's going on. You want heals or speed, be in the circle. I should throw in another thing, and then I'll just wrap it up for Lucio, and I can jump into another character, and I'll make it all come together through each character, I guess, to make it make sense. But when you're boosting your team, you can boost them out of spawn, but it's best to just be on, like, essentially, you want to keep your speed boost. You don't want to just boost them right out of spawn because that's 10 seconds that you gotta wait. You just want to be on heal, not your heal aura, but your speed aura. And what you want to do is you want to be behind them. You want to be behind them and letting them do the walking in front of you while you trail behind. Because if you do the whole thing where you're just full on tilt motion, you'll move past them and you'll leave people behind. You don't want to do that, especially Orissa's. Orissa's being left behind, Reinhardt's, etc. That can really hurt your team. So try and just trail them, because they'll get the speed. They'll be fast. You want a speed boost either when you're aggressing into a fight, aggressing onto a target, or escaping. What that means is, this Ana's all the way over there, right? We pick her as a dive target. Well, you, a Winston, and a Tracer would essentially start moving in, and you'd speed boost into her, wherever this bitch may be, right here, and you want to boop her into them. You don't want to just randomly boop her. You want to get behind her or around her, a place where you can boop her back into the people, back into your team, back into the crowd, whatever you want to call it. You never just want to just downright boop someone away, unless it's a Genji ult, a Doomfist rocket punch. The list goes on. You could even boop the dash, but if you just downright boop a person away in the middle of a team fight, chances are your teammate was trying to kill them and you just saved them by booping them away. Like, the enemy, that is. You saved the enemy. Don't just randomly, arbitrarily boop. The only time you should do that, though, is like, say, I'm diving in on this Ana, and, you know, I'm trying to combo damage together. A boop can be a good little combo to... Okay, then someone is resetting there. Okay. But anyways, yeah, essentially your boop is really important. Don't just waste it on anything. Yes, I mean, if you get ballsy enough and good enough with it, you can just dive in. You know, do whatever you will with it. I get it has a 4-second cooldown, but just keep in mind that while you're doing that, someone could be getting dived and killed. Because that's another big thing about Lucio is you don't just support with heals and speed. You can peel as well for your other support, like your Mercy. What that means is you're using your boop to boop away the thing that is attacking your other healer or tank, etc. Peeling is the act of, depending on what character you're playing, getting out of your position to come over to another teammate's position to essentially disrupt an enemy player, to get them to either be displaced by a boop, stun them with like a Brig shield bash, or just downright kill the said flanker or aggressors. So Lucio's really good on any map, as long as you have an understanding of the wall riding and what you can wall ride off of and what you can't, and what you can afford to do to get value off of your positioning. Value, this game is heavy on value. Value would be something along the lines of, alright, so hypothetically, choke point. So right here, the very first choke point is, you know, usually your enemy team, like with their Reinhardt's pushing in. Your team with like an Orisa or Reinhardt's right here. Well, there are a few ways you can go about this little dive, but you gotta be really smart and not, like, get killed. So, alright, I'm gonna spray. So say the Reinhardt is right here.
I'm thinking if we can.
So, you can essentially dive on their Reinhardt. You can take a long way or short way. I'll show you a little short way, because remember, you can boost yourself up walls. So you can boost yourself up walls. Now, you'll have to be careful, because this can easily go wrong. You can get sniped, you can get shot, but chances are they don't have good, like, aim. So you can take either of these walls over here, this wall over here, this wall over here, or when they set up, you can essentially set yourself up, and this is a big Tracer Doomfist Genji dive spot.
Frame right here.
So you can set yourself up right here,
Just right
and
over
then
in that corner right there. So you can take
what
it down.
you can do is wait for your team, wait for their team to come out of spawn. You can listen to sound cues. They'll be right here. And you see right where I sprayed, like that's where their Reinhardt is. You have to be careful, but moving out, you're essentially going to just speed boost your way through, wall ride out, you know, whatever you gotta do. And from where the Reinhardt's standing here, he'll be booped into your team. You want that, because then he's blocked off from his team, and he's gotta be busy backing up. And if you have a Mei, they'll wall. If it'll ever do that, it'll wall. They'll wall. Reinhardt's stuck here. His team's on the other side. You guys have a free killing spree. But anyways, yeah. Use the boops. Not only with consideration, but with the idea that you want value. Alright. That should be it with that. I mean, if there's anything you're like wanting to know, any questions about it, then I can answer. Like, let me restart this match. If you want me to just switch up heroes completely, then I can go to the next one. This is stuff that you'll need to know, though, for essentially hitting platinum and diamond.
Play a game with Lucia.
With Lucia. Okay. Let's hope for the best, dude. Hoping this goes good.
Play a game with Lucio.
I will say, it can be hard not having like certain like organization in team fights. If your team isn't organized, your best bet is to just work on bettering yourself more than them. Hoping I don't get shit ping. I don't think it's going to be very, like, I don't know. It's actually pretty good. Ana Lucio.
Probably take it out in the kitchen.
I don't think that, they'll be organized too much. I'm hoping they will be.
Found what is this bot?
Come on, let's bring it together. Let's show them what we can do.
Attackers incoming.
Group up here.
Alright, so on a map like this, it sucks. Everyone hates it, but you're always going to want to set up on high ground. Not over here, though. Usually with the shield, you want to set up over here. That spot's more better for like an Orisa. But on a map like this, then of course you got the people fighting on point. Never fight on point. You fight on point, you're giving them free space and the possibility of ticking. But characters like Tracer, you can follow. Always be fast to get out of there if there are too many. Okay, what is she engaging for? Shit, I gotta get out. Don't do what I did. That's a stupid move, but I could have been killed. But notice though that like a lot of my positioning is like behind the team. And that if I'm ever in trouble, I'm backing out. But since this game isn't as organized, it's not gonna be as well. Like this guy right here, he doesn't need to be over here. Come on, my man, you gotta move back. I know you're getting a little bit of heals, but damn. My team hasn't been close enough together.
Bot.
See what I did right there though? How I booped her off the point and then isolated her? That's what you want to do. You want to like isolate him when you boop him like that. Yeah, I was gonna die there. Too much damage. Plus Ano wasn't really healing me. But we got the point still, you see though. When you go for the boops, boop him into a position where you can isolate him like that. Also, as Lucio, you should always be ready to rotate to a point when they get on point, since you've got the most mobility. Ah, fuck, she got lucky. Unlucky for me, though. They already got 2 ticks, so I'm not surprised if they get the point. That's what I'm talking about, though. A lot of those ashes will just spam because they can't hit the shots. But, high ground's your best friend for first point. Second point is usually, like, you can set up high point, or high ground. But, here. I gotta heal this guy. They're going main. This Tracer that's behind should have waited for some kind of support. These guys are too split for me to get much value off Lucio. There's an honor right there. Dive her. Never tunnel vision. Don't tunnel vision. Since they're so split, while the enemy team is actually not a split, their Lucio was able to get more value. I'm not able to get that kind of value since they're so split. Okay, so I'm about to have ult. Come on, move out the way. So your ult, you're not going to want to use your ult except to counter certain other ults. This is coming right side. There's no point. Oh, what is she doing? She was out of position. Oh, fuck. Contest. Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna live through that. Sadly, they weren't as organized. And that map goes in one direction when you lose. It does. Sort of like Junkertown. Would you see though? Like, you gotta try and like balance out your heals and like speed boost.
Yeah, I know.
Since they weren't as like organized, I had to essentially play by myself and get myself in and out. And don't expect to do crazy, you know, gold elims, gold damage every single time. I was more or less playing to disrupt them, more so than actually like anything else. Bugs. So, any other heroes
Get buffered.
that you would like to learn about? Anything of the sorts? DPS streams will take too fucking long.
Eyelid.
Alright. Give me 1 second. Let me see this. Get fuckered. Get fuckered. Get fuckered. Are you for real? I mean, I can try and find something that is more organized. I don't think so. They have competitive elimination. Well, we can do that. Actually, could work. It's rough though, because usually in the lower ranks you don't really get too much cooperation, even in the higher ranks really. But now with the whole 2-2-2 system, people
McCree.
have to play something. McCree. God, that'll take a long time to queue. McCree. Here, I will take us into a custom game. And I'll do like the same thing, and then I can do a game, but I'll probably just, since it's a DPS, might just have to kill some bots. I mean, I don't know. I just, those queue times take too long. I mean, I guess go quick play classic though. It could work. So do the old 1-1 thing. And great map for McCree. Let's put us on preset.
Or Harambe.
Harambe. Yeah, I can do both. I can do both. Winston might be a little tough, because in a lot of games right now you're getting Orisa and Sigma and stuff, and Winston just isn't strong enough, really, against those guys. Nothing against Winston, it's just he's literally not strong enough to take him down. He still dive though. But here, I'll go on McCree. So, first things first is McCree. Yes, you have a stun. Yes, you do high damage. Yeah, your roll can do that, and your thing can do this. But, and then there's also that. But keep in mind, here, let me take off a lot of these random. Are they on us? First things first, always use high ground. The only time you really shouldn't be using high ground is if there isn't high ground to be used. And even then, you want to sort of like, I don't want to say be a backline character, because you can be up front. But if there's a shield, stick behind the shield, shoot from there, simple enough. Always use high ground. If you can't use high ground, use shields. If you can't use shields, stick next to supports. Protect your supports. McCree with a pocket is strong, insanely strong, like almost like Widow Mercy level strong. But anyways, yeah, high ground is like your best friend, but don't be out of position with it. And what I mean by that is don't just pick a random high ground spot away from your teammates, behind the enemy, etc., and pop, pop, pop. Usually, when playing on a map like this isn't a good sightline, because there's a widow right there, and unless you're good at dueling widows, you know, good luck with that. You more or less want to cover high ground like this, because you got all that line of sight right there, but keeping in mind that you won't be able to see to the left here, because that wall blocks you. You can be back like this, but you do have fall off. And being up here is more or less for when they push past the choke point and you've got to shoot them from here. But yeah, high ground's your best friend. Peeling for your supports. You know, you are the guy that's supposed to stop flankers like Tracer and Reaper and stuff. But that's only with the help of your supports, because alone you are shit tier against a Tracer, because you'll try to flash randomly and they'll blink around and kill you. But anyways, he's really accuracy oriented. He's focused on your accuracy. It's okay to miss shots, but at the same time, you got 6 bullets. You can only afford to miss so many shots before you gotta like really start hitting that stuff. If you're not so much a thumbstick, like, you know, this to aim, then keep your thing center and use your strafes to aim. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of both. I know I'm sucking right now, but I'm not like focusing. That, and I have to fucking compensate for this 60 plus ping. But anyways, to put a good example, high ground is usually where you want to be, but there will be characters like Tracer, Reaper, etc. that will dive you. All you need to do is drop down into your team. It might sound complicated, but no, you literally just drop down. They'll drop down into your team, and then at that point, you and your team can like finish them off, deal with them. But McCree's really strong. If you have sightline on Pharah versus a Pharah, honestly, any hit scan that isn't Widowmaker will not full on counter her unless you're really accurate with McCree. But God, I'm fucking lagging. This stream is making me lag. Let me do a few warm-up kills on her. I'm trying to get a feel for this lag. Because I go to aim it up and then I like am noticing I'm a little off. So let me just fine-tune my aim here real quick.
My biggest issues is Genii versus McCree.
Yes. So I believe, I don't know if I still have the screenshots, but I have a screenshot of the hitbox for Genji's deflect, where you can throw your stuns. But genuinely, in a 1v1 situation, I mean, you never really want to find yourself in a 1v1 situation with a Genji. That's McCree. But hey, it happens. You really need to work on your turning. Turning is everything. You need to learn how to predict. A lot of lower rank Genjis will do the same thing. Of just, here, let me swap to Genji and I'll show you the movements. So you can, like, from that point of view, from their point of view. And I'll spray on the ground where you'll be. And from where you need to turn. But the biggest issue with that is a lot of the players don't really take into mind that Genji's dash, straight line, you can't just, you know, like, you can't just turn like Doomfist with any kind of cancels. Wherever I aim, I'm going. So, here, I'll get up here and do this. The combos, I don't really do a whole lot myself. I do some of them, but say you're standing right there, you're McCree. Well, your first instinct is going to be, if you're thinking about it, okay, well, he can stunt, well, he can deflect whenever. Well, most of the time, some of them will preemptively do this, and then they'll, you know, they'll be wiggling around like idiots. You know, they'll throw their shurikens and wiggle around, do their deflect. But you will notice that at some point, they will always, without doing this, without doing that, they'll just dash through you. So, what you're trying to do is bait the deflect out. You want to spam shots at them, but be mindful, because as soon as you hear this, see this, is when, from your point of view, you need to stop shooting. Because when you stop shooting, a lot of them will panic, and they'll just dash past you. Now, it's not automatic that when they deflect, your bullet will go back to you. They have to aim it at you. And a lot of the time, they'll be all around the place, you know, all around the place trying to catch bullets. So, shoot, you can shoot straight on, but I would advise that you shoot around them, where you're not hitting it. So, that aside, at some point, you will see the dreaded dash, where they're behind you. Well, they have to turn around. So what you need to do is, as soon as they dash you, from your point of view, this is you, this is McCree, this is you. do what I did. If you've ever watched Kill Cam, you'll notice that when you dash through me, I was already starting to turn when you started the dash, as soon as you start the animation. Because, like I said, straight line. They can't just pop to the left, pop to the right, unless they physically move after the dash. But there's an animation behind it. So, from your point of view, you need to turn. You're going to need a faster sensitivity, or, depending on what you're playing right now, just turn down the aim smoothing and you'll pop over fast. But it's all about predicting and preemptively doing things and getting used to doing that. Because what you can do from this point on is if you know that they've burnt deflect, so this is what I'll look like if I've burnt deflect and then dashed. 8-second cooldown for both. What am I doing at this point? I'm spamming, hoping to God that I can kill you. At that point, you haven't thrown your stun, so we'll act like his deflect is stun for this, but you'll throw stun, and from that point on, make sure before you throw stun, shoot him in the body, stun, shoot him in the head. That's the combo for the one shot. But if you really want to be a dick, and you can just stun and fan. Another big thing that you need to work on, a lot of lower rank Genjis will just arbitrarily jump. They will constantly jump. They'll be over top of you. So what you need to do is get used to looking up and moving around, like moving around with them and shooting. Although I will advise that you just hop off the high ground when they do that. Go get a health pack or go get heals. But if you can't, and they're absolutely following you, then your best bet is to either take your loss, just try not to feed blade too much. Sometimes it's actually better to die than feed more. Or take your shots. You gotta be really accurate. That's the big thing about McCree. You got 6 shots. Now, when you throw your stun, I'll swap back to McCree to give you a physical representation of where you need to throw your stuns and what you'll see a lot of higher rank people do. This will be sort of, I guess, like the last thing for McCree unless you have more question. So, where Anna's standing, if she'll stand still for me, please. Bitch. Okay. Well, you get, Anna's about, I think, the same height as Genji. But you'll see above the head, below, at the ground, and to the very right, and to the very left. Think about his hitbox as like some kind of like big circle-y square thing around his body. It extends past his physical body. So, say he's standing here. If it'll spray, it's lagging. So, above the head, at the ground, to the very left, to the very right. The hitbox extends out further, obviously, for obvious reasons. So you need to get a feel for how far out it goes, which I'm pretty sure I still have the screenshots, and where you can throw the stun at to affect him. Because you see this Ana, and how she's standing here, and, you know, usually they throw the stun right at him. Well, little did you know that you can actually, see, all the way up there, and it's stunned her. It's got its own hitbox, and what it does is when the deflect hitbox collides with the hitbox of the stun will take effect. But keep in mind, if the deflect hitbox makes contact with the flash, stun, whatever, it'll knock it back into you. Does not matter how high you throw it. If he can get it aimed right, it'll go back into you. Usually they like to deflect straight in your face. So either you just don't throw it, or a good little tip is when you're up in their face, throw it up in the air. Up in the air over them, like you're trying to Kobe that shit. It'll take some getting used to, but you'll see what I mean. If I stand still and deflect and you throw it straight at me, it'll get thrown back at you. Throw it a little over the deflect. Another thing that you can do, if she'll appear again, It's the same concept for the right and left. You throw it to the very right. Not that far, obviously. But you throw it to the very right, throw it to the very left. And you'll hit them. But when you're throwing it at their feet, you want to throw it, like, in front of them. Not necessarily at the feet. But, like... Oh, she walked past it. But, like, in front of them. Like, say Anna's standing here, and you're standing here. For the Genji deflect, you want to meet it halfway at a certain point. Because remember, the deflect extends a little bit past his body. So you want to, like, I'd say his hitbox is there. You'd want to hit a little before it, and you'll stun. So keep that all in mind. And from that point on, you can just, or, you know, do your boom, 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 and dead. Like, yeah, it fucking lagged out of that. But you'll see. I'll show you the little stun. I'll show you the combo. If it doesn't lag in between, I'll show you the combo. So, you want to preemptively shoot them in the body, and then stun, and then shoot them in the head. Like that. But you can do it in between if you want. You'll have to be fast. But usually you want to try to get some damage in before you do these combos, especially with like Genji. You want to get a few shurikens in so you secure the kill. I mean, you know, there are different ways you can do it. But yeah. That should be about it. Along the lines of Genji v McCree. If you have a Mercy Pocket, you're set. That's another thing I'd suggest. Is finding a Mercy Pocket with McCree. And you'll like make it. Mercy Pockets are really strong for characters like McCree, Pharah. Winston, I mean, not as it used to be. It used to be heals. You'd keep him up with heals, but not so much anymore. His damage is shite. Diva, not really, because you can't keep her up with heals. You're better keeping up squishy targets with the heals. Oh shit, I'm lagging. But yeah, it's just little stuff you'll have to practice. When you ult, I'm gonna shoot a few bullets. When you ult, cancel, it'll reload. Same thing with Reaper. Not the same thing with Soldier though, I believe. But those are the few that reload when they ult. Recent patch. But your ult, you always want to use it either behind the team, to the side of the team, never in the front because they'll usually see it and hide. You want to sneak it in. Unless there's an absolute, like, good time to use it while they're looking at you. Which is rarely ever. But you'll notice you gotta get them to the skull. And that'll be a kill. Not close to the skull. Not before the skull. At the skull. I don't know why she didn't start moving into the wall. But if she had started moving in the wall, the skull would disappear. And you'd have to zero it in again. Let's see if it'll show. See? It'll show you where they're at, but you gotta zero it in again. So yeah. Never shoot in the deflect. Yada yada yada. Don't shoot in the Diva Matrix. Diva Matrix, I think, is a little bit harder to stun. But same concept with Reinhardt shield. As a McCree against a Reinhardt shield or a Brigitte shield, you always want to stun over their head. And that'll make them drop the shield, or if not, then they'll look up, which will then, you know, behind them, the shield will be up. Their team will be exposed, and you guys can start shitting damage in. Alright, well, onwards to Harambe. Harambe. Alright. Winston's another one. High ground. High ground's your best friend. Your dive tank, you're not, yes, you're a main tank, but you're a dive tank. You are not Reinhardt, you're not Orisa. You are not to be taking damage and soaking it up into yourself. You're feeding at that point. You're feeding, you're giving them ult charge, you're dying, and it's just a bad time for everyone. The only time you should be doing that is when you ult, because you've got so much health. And at that point, you're using your ult to disrupt. And then afterwards, you'll go back to your however much health. Now, a big thing with Winston is engaging targets. You need to pick and choose who you're going to engage, how you're going to engage them, and who's coming with you, because you can't do that shit alone. Now, Winston's very capable of fighting fights alone, except against certain characters like Reaper. Bastion, you never want to do that. And Hanzo, never. Roadhog especially, no. Sigma, he is rough, man. Sigma's rough. You never want to dive on a very mobile character like Lucio. They'll always get away. Don't dive on Tracer. They'll get away. Don't dive on Genji unless you're trying to bait the dash, get the dash out. Don't dive on really highly mobile characters. At least yet, until you get to that kind of mechanical, game sense. But anyways, so you're always going to dive. What does that mean about your positioning? You're always going to be on high ground, or you're going to be behind some sort of cover that'll grant you the ability, like you'll scout the area, of course, and you use cover. Never sit there and take chip damage. Never take damage here and there. Don't soak it up. Don't drop your bubble. Only drop your bubble when you engage on someone and you need to drop the bubble on them. Like with Ana here, usually the healer's in the back line. Well, if she gets out the fucking building, little twat. Ana. Come on, this way. Let's get her into the open. She'll follow. But you need to pick a target. Your best bet are to choose supports like Zenyatta. You can dive Mercy, but just know she'll Guardian Angel out. But Ana and Zen, Baptiste can work as long as you've got his discount. See that Ana over there? So what you want to do is, from high ground usually, she's going to start coming up here. But you usually want to be on high ground. And I'll let her come up here so I can dive her. You'll see her here soon. And what you want to do is aim yourself, drop bubble. Not that early. I fucked up on timing. But you want to dive, drop a bubble on them, and start shocking. I'll show it in real time for when she comes out. These spots can be pretty good to dive from as well. Watch out for widows though. Watch out for snipers. They're your worst enemy. But you'll see I'm always constantly clinging to the corner. So when you see your target, I hit the fucking skybox. Are you kidding me? I'll kill her again. I should have let her get in closer. I did not expect that I'd hit the skybox and it'd knock me down. I guess I can just drop down a little bit then leap. But I'll show you in real time, again, how to successfully dive with them and how you should dive with them. Never dive in without a bubble. Always dive in with a bubble. So, when you're in the bubble, I know I didn't kill her there, but you've seen how the bubble dropped on her. You want to drop the bubble essentially where she is in the bubble. She has to get out of the bubble. She can't just, walk and just be out of the bubble right then and there. You gotta give her some space to I keep dropping it early. With her constant moving, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little tough because the timing of the bubble can seem like it's right, but it won't really be right. But see how she's in the bubble? Yes. You want her to have to move out of the bubble. When she's in the bubble, she can't get heals. The bubble blocks off heals. From Zen, from Ana, from Baptiste, etc. Even Moira now, I believe. I don't know about Mercy though. Pretty sure it does. But your barrier stops heals from coming in and going out. from enemy players. You can shock through it though, but she cannot. So always make sure your job though, your big job, is not only just to dive, but to make the characters, the support characters, use their cooldowns. When you dive in, you want the Ana to use her nade. You want her to use her sleep. Because then that opens up your dive tank, your support dive tank, your, you know, off tank, whatever the fuck, can then move in with you, and they can, like, defense matrix, or in the case of ball, just do the little rolling thing and disrupt them, and you both can just deal simultaneous damage. So to add on to your damage, also throw in some melees in between when you're against an armored unit or hero. But you'll see. Right now though, if you really want to go through the pain, play Winston, but don't expect to win as much in comp games until you fully understand. Not fully understand, but understand him to a certain degree, because it's possible to win with off-meta characters. It's possible. You just gotta learn how to play around things. But until you are comfortable with diving, dropping bubbles, and, you know, all that shit, you gotta start dancing with your bubble, you know, getting in it and out it. Don't use your jumps like I just did there. Use your jump to get in, secure the kill, and get out. Like, as soon as I do this motion, drop the bubble, notice how your thing's on cooldown. Well, at that point, I'm gonna go in, get the kill, and I'm gonna jump out. Come back for heals. Same thing as what I was doing with Lucio. The only difference is you don't have a speed boost. Like I said though, I try to show you it in a game, but it takes organization. It takes people understanding what you're doing, and it takes you understanding what you're doing. And in a meta where Sigma and Orisa are like the top dogs right now, you can't really dive in Orisa, you can't really dive a Sigma. It's just not too good. It's not, you're better off diving the backline, but that's where the issue comes in, because your jump is affected by pull. Orisa pulls you, you're fucked. You know, you get stunned by Sigma, you're fucked. Any stun, any CC, and you're dead. But that should be good enough, really. Any other heroes? Because I can do any other. But like, that's just some stuff that you'll have to keep in mind. High ground's your best friend for a lot of these characters. Except for Lucio. Unless everyone's on high ground, Lucio is more for having a group of people. When you have an AoE heal like that, you need people to be grouped up. You need people to be with you, or you won't get value. But yeah. Just let me know if any other heroes you need. Give me a second. Checking to see if I got any messages or anything. Nope.
Not really so far.
Alright, well, then that should be it for all that. What I suggest doing as a practice is going into games, like as McCree, going against the Autobots on hard, where they can't shoot you or anything. Just practice your shots with that. Practice your combos. Practice diving with Winston. You can use it to practice really anything. But yeah, you see. That's all the stuff that if you do right and you practice, which means yes, we'd have to play a lot of quick play games outside of comp. We'd have to play, you know, some arcade mode games, and even 1v1s help. But you're gonna want to like start practicing that stuff in custom games and in stuff like that. You'd be surprised at like in elimination and stuff how slippery you can be as Lucio and how hard you can frag when you know how to walk, just ride and speed yourself, when to heal yourself. Because most of the time, like I said, when playing these characters, when you don't have the support of your teammates, you're just not good by yourself. But you need to learn how to play by yourself, essentially. Also, Doomfist, currently meta. My man's Doomfist is strong as fuck. And he is great at disrupting and just smashing things. And like, learn how to counter him. Because if you don't, chances are your team's going to want you to go McCree, which you really shouldn't go McCree for Doomfist. Unless you're a good enough shot. Or good at predicting. Then you're not really going to want to leave it to chance. You're just going to want to play something like a Symmetra or a Torbjorn. You know, stuff like that. The only issue with playing Symmetra is Doomfist can get past your turrets, while with Torbjorn he can't. Torbjorn can shut him down good. Torbjorn shuts down a lot of those dive characters good. But if all else fails, don't go Torbjorn in the middle of a losing fight, in the middle of like losing the point. Go Torbjorn, and if you're gonna go Torbjorn, set up on the next spot. You know, don't just run in and die unless you guys can absolutely win that. You know, it's never a smart idea to just run in, throw your turret down, use your armor ability, and then get killed after your turret dies. Stuff like that. You'll see what I'm talking about. But this should be about it on those terms. Bitch, die. I'll just punch that bitch to death. If there are any certain maps you want me to go over, then I can pick whatever character and go on a certain map. Like Hanamura, Horizon Lunar Colony, but Horizon Lunar Colony, no one likes it. Low ranks, high ranks, no one likes Horizon Lunar Colony. That map sucks.
Your time's run out.
Bullet best. I'm a high roller. Yeah. Damn it. I'm not so good at that turning and jumping. Yeah, no. Animation cancels, I forgot, are like your best friend as well.
Fuck out of my way, dog.
I thought I'd figured one out with Moira where I animation canceled the, I believe, damage orb, something like that. I'm gonna actually try and see if I can figure that out real quick. Animation cancels are real simple, but some of them are like stupidly hard for certain characters. Like with Tracer, you've got animation cancel of a melee. Melee recall. So I missed it. She moved at the last second, but I'll try and show you. Three, two, one. Missed it again. She moved. It'll show the hit marker. I'm trying to like kill her when I do it.
Need some games in.
Damn it, fucking bitch. Yes. What I show you, you will have to physically play. Because if me playing it to show you is more or less like, yes, I can show you, but you gotta like play it. Go get that. I keep missing it. I keep lagging when I go to do it. But animation cancels. Missed it again. How do I blink into the wall? Long story short, I'll just go find something to do it too. That'll move if I melee it. So alright. I'll do it standing still. Because Ana won't stand still. You see how that moves? See how that moved? I know that wasn't because I recalled. Recall will not move that stuff. It moved because I meleeed it and recalled it. Animation canceled the melee. Right there. Moved. I guess to give a better representation, let me just walk up to her and do it. You'll see a hit marker. See that hit marker? That's an animation cancel.
Can you take me to Frogtown, Dad?
No. Another little example of an animation cancel is the you do this. He has an animation where he sheathes a sword, but by climbing up a wall you cancel it. If you fan and dash at the same time, you get rid of the, as you see the animation completely, of fanning. It works the same with primary fire as you see right there. I got rid of my hands and the shurikens just came out. But for Moira, I don't know if I can remember it. There's an animation cancel for Orb, I'm pretty sure. A little tip for Moira. Anytime you go to ult, damage Orb. See how that stacks up? Always do that. Or throw a healing orb if it's all on your team. There's an animation cancel for her stuff, but I'd have to figure it out. But yeah, you get the thing. You can look up the animation cancels for each character, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Technically speaking, Sombra has one, but it's not really useful.
And everyone
with her how she just uncloaks when you shoot. She goes Gyeonda, whatever. Instead of doing that, you can like emote and you'll hop right out of it. But that's useless.
But Dad, I need cards.
Yeah, your bitch ass also need to get into diamond, so stop complaining. I guess for McCree, an animation cancel would just be or your roll essentially. Reaper, that's another one. Animation cancel. So when you're reloading, if you've ever noticed people that'll do this and they'll reload in melee, that's because it stops you from having to pull your guns out like that. As soon as you see in the bottom right an 8 appear on the screen, that's when you need to melee. And for Widow, I guess it was an old thing where you would like shoot in melee because it had some kind of like faster charge, but I think that was the old Widow.
Cries.
That was the old Widow. How did I miss that? Dude, I suck at Widow, dude. How's that not a headshot? Wait a minute, bitch. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. How do I suck at Widow now? Okay, that should have hit. Damn, I actually suck, dude. I have to compensate for this lag and it's pissing me off. But yo, I want Yu-Gi-Oh cards, head ass. I wanted a son that wasn't a disappointment, but here you are. I mean, that should be pretty much it, though. On everything. Should be pretty much good. Damn, I fired too early. Alright then. Well, that's all out of the way. That's stuff that tomorrow we can do when I'm up and on during the daytime. And also we can grind for the skins, which will most likely we'll have to play Junkenstein's Revenge and shit to get the loot boxes a lot quicker. Damn, okay, boo, Arissa got that skin though. She look like a bitch. She look like a G. She look like a bitch. Nigga, you's a bitch. Oh, they finally... Oh, no, wait. Unlocked. They didn't make this. Damn. Sucks. This nigga look gay.
I am rubbing away. Hate you, Dad.
Oh, dude, you can run away all you want, but your bitch ass still gonna come back home. Yo, dude, they got an Inferno skin for your Junkrat boy. Like, check that shit out. I bet you gonna main Junkrat now, boy. Yo, sad ass. I'm gonna start maining Sombra. I'm gonna main Sombra. That's my new bitch. Pumpkin?
Hopefully internet is gonna be fixed.
Yes. Yeah, you are already dead. Nani? Oh, yes. This nigga said too edgy for you. Nigga, no. Alright. So, that's stuff that we can work on. I just, like, would recommend the warm-ups first beforehand. You can do it against Autobots. We could do it against whatever. The main focus should be you warm up to get your aim better and to, like, work on your mechanics and stuff. Stuff like that. That's why I do it. But modes where you're against bots can be another thing. But you'll get the most out of, like, playing against other people. That's where the whole idea of know your rank comes in. Know how they play, know what they do. And pretty soon, you know what you'll be? Oh, let me just bring this up. So 17 we didn't play. 7. You'll go from this. So I was actually almost bronze, dude. Like season 9 when I first started playing. I started 1800, dropped to 1500. And then went 1800. 1847. And then boom! The key to ranking up was actually Moira the whole time. Now you see why I hate her. And then next season
Yes, sir.
was shit. Don't be like me, play all the different DPS picks that you actually weren't good at, but picked on a whim. Because I dropped a lot. I dropped like almost like 100 SR. Next season, I know it's weird how I just pop into 27. That was the last season that I played comp on this count. The reason I'm 2789 is because I started to pretty much... I played a lot more support, but I also played Tracer and stuff when soloing. But if it could show the earlier stats, I actually had a lot of time on Moira, and I gotten into Platinum playing Moira, but I started playing Lucio and stuff because when I did duo, I duoed with a Tracer, and I would play Lucio to like dive with him, while if I was alone, I just played Tracer. Played some Zenyatta to combo with the the combo with the Tracer. Brigitte I wasn't too good at. I played some Reinhardt here and there. That was when stacked with a whole team. But you'll see. And then pretty soon, if he's on here, if the elusive boy himself is on here, soon you'll become like this bot named Unfluttershy, where, wrong one, you're a bot like this, and then you're a bot like that, and then you're a bot like that because DK, and then you're a bot like that because more DK, but you see 3.5k, my boy, and you'll hit that. But now that we don't have decay anymore, if I just play on the account and get it up to Masters, then I can just not play it and it'll stay in Masters. But win percentage. So long story short, best way to getting into the next rank is to have win percentages like this in the 60s. That means you're winning most of your games pretty much. Don't be like me though and work full time and then try and like be high rank in this game, because then you won't do jack shit and you'll lose a lot of your time. And we'll look at Diamond over here. another one of my accounts. I play a lot of Roadhog, but as you see, 27.95, another one where I did play sport. You can place high with sport. It just depends on how you carry yourself about in games. Bot Yada, I believe, is lower. But another one that I had in Platinum, played mostly Moira. See if I have any of my other accounts on here. Most of them are pretty much in Platinum. I'll see if I see another one of mine. Trash Gang, I believe, was another one. Yeah. Another one where we got it to about 27. I played with a few others for some of the games. But as you see, a lot of my stats with these have Moira. Except for this season. That season was like the season of the DPS for everything, and I didn't even play comp. But you see Mercy and Moira, because I was training to be a main healer for a team at the time. Although I don't think my win rate was the highest for my characters. Yeah, 53, 27. But you get the point. At all those times, I was running all those accounts, and I was hitting platinum on all of them. So it's not just this account. I was a plat bot for a long time. I made a lot of those accounts to try and break through into diamond. So yeah, there's a little history lesson. And that should be it. Although I don't believe that my win percentages were ever too good on these accounts. I never believed that I was doing good with win percent. Oh, never mind. My Moira win percentage was actually huge. So was my Mercy. I believe my McCree was too. Almost. Tracer, I don't think too much. Oh, never mind. Widowmaker was actually one that I popped with a lot. Zen, my boy Zen. I fragged a lot with him. There you go, boys. Like, there you go. And you'll see that I'm actually friends with a lot of GMs and shit on this account. And Masters. I don't know if this one is. Another diamond. There's I've got a few. Like, I've got a top 500. He was top 500. The season's all before. Stuff like that. I've got other friends. The guy that I mostly played with would be this guy. He's also a Tracer main. Okay, so he never got this account past that. He gave up on it. But he's also a top 500 Tracer. I'm friends with a lot of other like Masters and top 500s. This guy was also... This is a different account. But at one point was top 500 playing Lucio. Stuff like that. A lot of these people don't really play Overwatch anymore though. Which sucks. Fucking sucks, dude. Cause like This guy right here, Rip X, he a bot. Look at that, support and tank. He a bot. But another thing that we want to do when climbing is we want to play with other people that are also high rank like that. That can help, because your games will go a lot easier if you play with people you know. I think it was this account, Sonata Dusk. Yep. Hit GM. His is Tracer. A lot better than mine. Our McCree matchup though is pretty good actually though. But yeah, that's the guy that I was playing with and learned from a lot.
I hate you.
Nah, you can't hate me because I made you, boy. If I can ever get that dude online, then I'll try and get him on to play comp with us. Because he's got a few different accounts, but I don't think he'll play really. I haven't really talked to him in a while. He usually only plays DPS though. And he'll do what I do. If the team is playing like shit, he'll call it out. As things should be. Had some other friends that didn't even want to play with him because they were doing bad on their picks and we weren't winning, so he said swap to Brig, and the person got triggered. It's funny as fuck, dude. Alright, well, I mean, it's pretty much good. I'm thinking that I might play a different game here. Alright then, well, that's all. I shall take my leave.